Hey there, my friend Perry Tinsley here. Have you ever felt like you're holding yourself back? Maybe it's in your health, maybe it's in your fitness, maybe it's in life somewhere in your career. Maybe you have a dream or a goal that you've been working on, but you just can't seem to make progress. You feel stuck. And the thing is, you just don't know how you're going to move forward, how to move forward. And the big question, at least what struck me when I was facing those moments, is how do I figure out what to do next when I can't even figure out why I'm stuck? So let's talk about this thing called the terror barrier. Ooh, sounds scary, right? But before we do that, I want to thank you for joining me today on another Power Blast podcast where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing you rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours and reclaim your power. And before we get into this great stuff about breaking through fear, make sure you get over onto my calendar at talktoperry.com. It's wide open for podcast listeners and viewers, and it's all about keeping that energy high and helping you reach all of your goals. And I want to help you recharge that battery of yours, just like I said, so that you can reclaim your power. We do that in 15 minutes. Talktoperry.com. So I was on a mindset training the other day. I'm kind of giving it a soft title, but a mindset training where one of my mentors, we were talking about goals and we were talking about stepping into that next level version of yourself. And she asked this question, which I thought was great. And I quick grabbed the pen to write down. It's like, what would it feel like if you allowed yourself to go all in? And I had that moment because it was like, you think of the different things in life. And all of a sudden, I think about like the things I've accomplished in my life, whether it was deciding to become a teacher or deciding to be a health coach or deciding to be a podcast mentor or deciding to get in shape. And the thing was, there was always this little fear factor that kicked in. But that's what I did. I went all in. I didn't realize it. I wasn't calling it that at the time. But every time there was this fear factor about it, this little kind of this paralyzing moment of deer in headlights look and all that stuff. And that's what I did. It's like I broke through that terror barrier, even though it was fearful, it was uncomfortable. I stepped into it. And I won't say it happened every time in life. There might have been some terror barriers I stepped into and then decided not to act on it. But on the other side of that terror bear is where the growth happens. Bob Proctor, you may have heard him before. He's a world-renowned, he's passed away, but personal development expert. Really, I probably am not giving him the most ideal title. He's just helped people transform so much. But he said, the terror barrier it's like an invisible barrier that holds us back from achieving our goals. It's the stuff that's going on between our ears. That, all these stories, right? But it's at that point where we start to feel a bit uneasy, a bit uncomfortable, a bit anxious. And we keep pursuing, keep going outside of our comfort zone a bit. Not only in hopes, but a lot of times it's in, having a burning desire to break through and reach that goal. Whatever that is. A lot of times people do have that little hope and pray, I hope this works and stuff like that. And I think that can work. But when you have a burning desire to really have a breakthrough, there's probably going to be some uncomfortability to it. Or at least if you don't, you do now. But it's at that point we start to doubt ourselves. We start to doubt our abilities. We begin to question whether or not we're even capable of doing it. And I think about me and starting my fitness journey. And I was like, am I going to stick with it this time? Because I haven't done it so many other times. And you promised yourself each time. I call those false promises, kind of where they were letdowns. They were letdowns that I ended up ignoring and rationalizing why it wasn't work, why the timing wasn't right, whatever. But it's that point when we make up, when the doubt, the fear, the things like that, it's the stories that are stirring around in our head with all the what ifs and the reasons why it won't work. We look for flaws in our plan, look for escape hatches along the way should we get started. A lot of times we'll say, okay, I'm going to try this terror barrier thing. We step into it, it gets uncomfortable. We keep going a little bit, and then we're like looking for a way out. But that terror barrier, it's a natural part of growth. It's a process, something that we all experience, whether you've identified it as that or not. You'll come across that in your life. It's the point where a decision gets made. Actually, I think the decision actually gets made beforehand to go for it, but there'll be decisions along the way whether we're going to continue to push forward or whether we're going to give up and give in and become a quitter or put things off. And another Bob Proctor, and I won't tell the whole story, but he has a great story about his son that was deciding to quit the swim team, even though he's really good, and he just didn't want to get up early in the morning. But he was kind of talking it over with his dad, and his dad was like, "I don't care what you do." And the guy's like saying, "Yeah, I think I'm going to quit," and he's like, "Just know that each time you do that, you get better." He's like, "What do you mean?" "Oh, it gets easier each time. Each time you quit, you become a master quitter. You get good at that." And if that type of story doesn't really hit at you, it's like, how many times have we given up on ourselves over the years? We have these big goals, big dreams. We want to do something, especially a lot of times people have that at the beginning of the year. And here we are a few months later, and wow, where did that go? Well, it wasn't all that important. We come up with something. But that's where, for me, I made this crazy, wild, committed decision that I was going to exercise daily. And now I started with kind of that dabbling moment. 90 days. I'm going to see if this sticks, but I'm going to do it this time. And I did. And I took it just one day at a time, because I realized if I was focusing 90 days out, chances are I might get distracted. So it's just do today. Eventually, that 90 days, it turned into a lifetime commitment. I realized, hey, there's no just stopping after 90 days. Not if I want to keep going and growing and stepping into new levels. So let me ask you, what would it feel like if you allowed yourself to go all in and break through that terror barrier, whatever it is in your life? I love to focus on health and fitness stuff, but actually, what would that feel like? Liberating, empowering, more energy, exhilarating, maybe more fit, more confident? What would it finally, feel like to let go? And this is the big one, to let go of the doubts, the fears, and the insecurities. A lot of times those things weigh us down so much, they're just anchors, or they're like bolts into the ground with chains around us. What if we let those go? All the things that are holding you back. Now, not only you're pursuing things, but you're letting things go at the same time, blessing or releasing some things. Wow. And what would it feel like to commit to yourself and to your goals and to your dreams and actually take action on them and make them a reality? I'm sure you've had that in your head before, where you've kind of spun around the story. Going all in, it requires a certain level of, vulnerability, trusting yourself. And I think it's a one day at a time sort of thing. You get this long-term vision, of course, but it's the daily actions, the daily habits, the no matter what's that you show up for yourself and just do today, make it happen. You take action each day, and each day is going to present its own set of challenges. We'll have a really great day, and we're like, I'm unstoppable. And then the next day, some crazy wild things happen, take you a little bit off course, or try to take you a bit off course. And you're like, what are you going to do about it? Those moments, life is challenging your commitment. It's breaking through the terror barrier, it's not easy. It requires you to confront some things, like these things called limiting beliefs. It requires you to reprogram your current habits, your current behaviors, believing in yourself, your abilities, reprogramming those paradigms, those things, that programming that's hardwired in your subconscious mind that have created your habits and your beliefs and all the things over the years. It's reprogramming that stuff. I wrote this down the other day. I wish I had it in my head, but it was like giving yourself the ability not only to learn, but actually to then forget and then relearn some new stuff. And it's the forgetting stuff. A lot of times people learn things and they stick and grab onto those, and we defend those old habits and that old thinking. It's like, but it isn't serving us. What if we really worked hard to unlearn that and then relearn something new, something empowering? I thought that was great. I saw that, I think, on a YouTube video the other day. But might I suggest just taking the time to do a few of the things to help you break through the terror barrier if you're ever in it. One is identifying your limiting beliefs. Those are the stories that you tell yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I don't have the commitment. I don't have the willpower. Life has always been this way. Those sort of things. Find those and then start to let go of them. Visualize success. I mean, that often means rewiring your mind. And the stories that come up that tell you that, oh, that you can't do that, that's a limiting belief. Get rid of it. Say, no, this is where I'm going, right? See yourself at that end result. And then take action no matter what, taking small steps and big steps, and being that person now who exercises, who stays committed, who buys nutrient-dense foods, who gives yourself an empowerment ritual every day. Surround yourself with support, people who are rooting you on toward your goals that can help you stay motivated, engaged, can help you stay accountable. I'll help support you. Jump on my calendar, talktoperry.com, because I want to hear what goals you're working through, anything that's become a struggle for you. I'll tell you within 15 minutes of us talking together which direction is going to be the best for you, where you're going to get the biggest result from, so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours and reclaim your power. And I'm going to give you 3 strategies on there: how to boost your energy, reclaim your time, and make you the priority. I often ask, how would your life look different if your battery was running at 100% every single day? What could you accomplish? Jump on my calendar over at talktoperry.com. Allowing yourself to go all in and breaking through that terror barrier, I mean, it can be life-changing. It requires courage and vulnerability and just that willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. Take a deep breath. Identify those limiting beliefs and visualize your success. You got to take action. You got to do that and surround yourself with, I think it's really helpful to surround yourself with uplifting people. I didn't do that at the beginning. I kind of was like, oh, let me just figure this out on my own. But when I connected to a community and eventually connected to coaches and mentors, skyrocketed. I'm like, why did that was a limiting belief of mine, which was saying, I'll do this on my own. I don't need any help. So, I mean, just know that you can choose to use your power, take control, figure things out, or you can let the excuses, the alibis, the rationalization, all of the stuff, the limiting beliefs control you and drain your power. It's deciding and committing to yourself and your goals and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. And I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You can drop those down in the comments. I do respond to those. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast. And always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.